Marcus Aurelius once wrote something that should stop every one of us in our tracks. He said it never ceased to amaze him that each of us loves ourselves more than anyone else, and yet we value the opinion of others more than our own. Think about how strange that is. You live inside your own mind every second of your life. You know your struggles, your intentions, your whole story, and yet so often you hand the verdict on your own worth to people who barely know you at all. The fear of what others think is one of the heaviest chains a person can carry. It decides what we wear, what we say, the dreams we chase, and the dreams we quietly abandon. The Stoics saw this clearly 2,000 years ago, and they built a philosophy to set us free from it. In the next few minutes, I am going to give you 7 Stoic lessons to stop caring what people think. And lesson number 5 is the one that finally cuts the chain for good. As you listen, keep one person in mind, someone whose opinion holds a little too much power over your choices. By the end, you will see that person and yourself very differently. Let us begin. The first lesson is to ask whose approval you are actually chasing. We speak of what people think as if it were some vast, all-seeing jury. But stop and look closely at who that jury really is. Often, it is a handful of people, some of whom we do not even admire, some we would never trade lives with. The Stoics urged us to examine our impressions rather than obey them blindly. So examine this one. Would you take life advice from this person? Do they have the wisdom, the character, the results you respect? Usually, the answer is no. We are terrified of the judgment of people whose judgment we would never actually trust. When you realize that much of the crowd you fear is made of people you do not even look up to, their opinions begin to lose their grip. Choose carefully whose voice you allow to matter. Most do not deserve the power you have given them, but even the opinions that come were never yours to control. The second lesson is that their opinion is not within your control. This is the heart of Stoic freedom. Epictetus taught that some things are up to us and some are not. What is up to us? Our actions, our effort, our character. What is not? Other people's thoughts about us. You could live a flawless life, and some people would still misunderstand you. You could give someone everything, and they might still resent you. Their perception is formed inside their mind, shaped by their fears, their mood, their past, none of which you can reach. So the Stoic makes a clean division. I will pour my energy into what I do and who I am, and I will release what others conclude about it. Trying to control every opinion is like trying to control the weather. Do your part with excellence, and let the rest go. It was never in your hands to begin with, and the truth is, most people are barely watching anyway. The third lesson is that everyone is too busy thinking about themselves. We walk through life imagining a spotlight following us, convinced that everyone notices our mistakes, our clothes, the awkward thing we said 3 days ago. But here is the freeing truth. They are not thinking about you nearly as much as you fear. They are trapped in exactly the same spotlight, worrying about their own. The Stoics practiced seeing things as they truly are, stripped of our anxious exaggerations. And the reality is this: the embarrassing moment you have replayed 100 times, others forgot within minutes. Everyone is the main character of their own story, far too occupied with their own worries to dwell on yours. This is not sad, it is liberating. The audience you are performing so anxiously for is barely watching. You are freer than you think. So stop shrinking to manage an audience that is not really there. But even when people do judge, you must accept one hard truth. The fourth lesson is that you can never please everyone. No matter what you do, someone will disapprove. Speak up, and you are too much. Stay quiet, and you are too passive. Chase your dreams, and you are unrealistic. Play it safe, and you are wasting your potential. The crowd can never agree, so pleasing all of it is not humility. It is an impossible task that quietly tears you apart. The Stoics understood that trying to be liked by everyone means being ruled by everyone. Every person you bend yourself to please pulls you in a different direction, until there is nothing left of you at all. Epictetus said that if you wish to improve, you must be willing to be seen as foolish by some. So choose. Would you rather betray the whole world's expectations, or betray yourself. The person who accepts that some people will simply not approve is finally free to live by their own compass. And that compass is the fifth and most important lesson. The fifth lesson is that your own verdict is the only one that matters. This is the lesson that finally breaks the chain. The Stoics spoke of building an inner citadel, a fortress inside you, where your sense of worth lives, untouchable by the outside world. Most people build their self-worth outside themselves, in the shifting opinions of others, and so they are never at peace, praised one day, crushed the next, forever at the mercy of the crowd. The Stoic builds it within. Marcus Aurelius, who could have had the flattery of an entire empire, judged himself by one standard alone, his own conscience. Am I acting with reason? Am I acting with virtue? If the answer was yes, no insult could touch him. If it was no, no applause could comfort him. When your own honest judgment becomes the verdict you truly answer to, you become almost impossible to control. Praise is pleasant, but no longer necessary. Criticism may sting, but it can no longer rule you. Build your worth on the inside, on your own values, and the storms outside lose their power. But to hold that inner verdict, you must learn to weigh the critics correctly. The sixth lesson is to consider the source. Not all criticism is equal, and the Stoics were precise about this. There is a world of difference between feedback from someone who is wise, who cares about you, and who is actually in the arena, and noise from someone who has never attempted what you are attempting. Most of the loudest critics are not living your life. They are not taking your risks. They are watching from the safety of the sidelines, and it costs them nothing to judge. Marcus reminded himself to consider the character of the person offering an opinion. Do they live well? Do they know the situation? If not, why would their view carry any weight? Learn to sort the signal from the noise. Listen carefully to the few who are wise and who wish you well, and let the rest pass through you like wind. The opinion of someone who has never walked your path is simply information about them, not about you. And when you remember one final truth, even that fades away. The seventh lesson is to remember how small and brief this all is. The Stoics practiced viewing their lives from a great height, seeing how vast the universe is and how brief our time in it. From that view, the question that torments us, what will they think of me, begins to shrink to its true size. 100 years from now, nearly everyone whose opinion you fear today will be gone, and so will you, and so will the memory of the thing you were so worried about. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself again and again how quickly all of it is forgotten. This is not meant to make life feel meaningless. It is meant to set you free. If it will not matter in 100 years, how much should it truly rule you today? You have one short, precious life. It is far too brief to live it as a prisoner of other people's passing thoughts. Spend it as yourself. So there they are, 7 Stoic lessons to stop caring what people think. Ask whose approval you are chasing. Know their opinion is not in your control. Remember, everyone is busy with themselves. Accept you cannot please everyone. Make your own verdict the one that matters. Consider the source, and remember how brief it all is. Now here is the honest part. Freedom from the opinions of others is not a switch you flip once. It is a practice. You will slip. You will catch yourself shrinking, performing, seeking approval. That is fine. The goal is simply to catch it a little faster each time and to return, again and again, to your own inner citadel. So ask yourself now, whose opinion have you handed too much power? Picture them clearly, and then ask, have they earned that power over your life? For most of us, the honest answer is no. Take that power back. It was always yours. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet the hardest territory he ever governed was the space inside his own mind, where the fear of judgment lives. He won that ground one honest choice at a time. So can you, starting with the very next decision you make for yourself, and not for them. If this gave you something worth keeping, stay a while. Subscribe to Stoic Sovereign, and let this be the place you return to whenever the weight of other people's opinions grows too heavy. Until then, rule yourself, and you will rule your life.